Let's hope for the best. Prepare for the worst, hope for the best. If it's lagging at all, I'm still going to keep going. The only way I will stop the stream completely is if it keeps disconnecting. So we're hoping that it doesn't. Keeping our fingers crossed about that. All right. So
I'm hoping it does at the same time.
Yeah, right. Maybe for some of this we are. So we give everybody a second to come in before I turn on my camera and everything. Welcome to the show, everybody. It is the after party. This week we have 3 shows to talk about, and we'll answer some questions as well. We're going to be talking about, let me go pull the image down. We're going to be talking about Legends of Tomorrow. Pagey hasn't seen it yet, but he doesn't care if I spoil it. We'll talk about Legends of Tomorrow. We'll be talking about Arrow. We're going to be talking about The Flash. Careful for spoilers for you guys if you haven't seen it, if you're watching this on playback, and if you're here live. Thank you so much for joining us as always. Well, almost always. I'm joined by Pagey. Say what's up from Australia.
Hello.
He's dabbing on haters all the way down under.
All the way down under.
So anyway, you guys, we had a very busy week of shows. We didn't have Supergirl this week, so no Supergirl to talk about. But we did have 3 other shows to discuss. We're going to spend a little bit of time on Legends. I didn't put my review up tonight because I had to change some stuff in it. But it will be going up tomorrow. My Flash review first thing in the morning. Legends in the afternoon, so you guys can get the goodness and then get the real badness. So it's all good. It's all good.
Get the buttery popcorn, then get the salty popcorn.
Right, exactly. So you get the good stuff in the morning, and then in the evenings before you go to bed, I'm going to get you guys so upset. I know a lot of people are probably really are probably on the same page as me with Legends, but there's a lot of Godspeed questions, you guys. Trust and believe. We're going to get into that. I know everybody comes in for the Flash, but we have to go through the other stuff first. So anyway, Pagey, anything exciting going on with you this week? Any new stuff we should be looking forward to or anything like that?
Oh, God. Probably not. I highly doubt it. Who knows? Next week I could come in and definitely floss on a lot of people and just spoil Endgame because it comes out here like 3 days before
Lord.
else.
That's right, you guys. Start muting words. I'm not going to be able to moderate the entire chat. Just start muting words. There's a lot of Endgame spoilers out there. Please. Please, please, please. So, all right, let's go ahead and I'm going to get Legends out of the way because I know Pagey hasn't seen it, but he was in the live chat when we were watching it, and so I
came in like the last I think 15
he knows
minutes.
the general consensus on what people thought of it. All right, we're not gonna spend a lot of time on this. So anyway, Legends this week, Seance and Sensibility, I think is what it was called. It was a waste of an episode, total waste of an episode, you guys. There was a music video in it, and you guys already know how I feel about music videos, so there's that. The storyline was kind of pointless. It was pretty much, in my opinion, a filler episode. The ending of it was really the only thing that had anything going on with it. Monochrome Mandalorian. Don't worry, we'll talk about that in just a second. Thank you for the super chat. We're going to be moving to Arrow pretty quickly here. So, I saw, this is the crazy thing, Pagey, is I saw an article where they said this was the best episode of Legends to date. Like, I really feel like people are just, these writers are just writing these stories to get hate clicks. I really, at this point.
Yeah, I don't know, because the thing is that, like, I didn't even watch the episode, obviously, we brought that up, but this season it seems like it's just, like, I'm trying to think of, like, a good analogy to use. It's like when something's got, a couple of different genres mixed in there, and then, like, people like the fact that it adapts a certain genre. So with Legends, it's a bit more comedic, in its, how it goes about things, but also, like, in seasons 1, 2, and even 3, it still stays central to that, like, okay, we're a comic book show, or, they adapt to that, and they have little references, or even just the characters, and they actually use their powers and stuff. Sure, season 3 went away from that a bit, but I still think it had that for the most part. But this season, like, in those previous seasons, or at least season 2 and 3, people like the fact it had a bit of comedy in there, and, like, it didn't take itself too seriously. But now they've gone, okay, people like that, let's make this season 4 completely like that. And they just add a bit of Constantine, supernatural stuff in there, which, the first half, I actually didn't mind it too much. I know you didn't like the first half too much, but for me, I actually enjoyed it for the most part. Maybe apart from like one episode in particular, I can't remember what it was, but I know I didn't like one episode. And then maybe like another one was a bit But since it's come back, the first 2 episodes since its return were not very good. The second one I thought was worse than the first one that came back, and I don't even know about this third one because people are hating on it, and people that I saw that liked the other 2 episodes didn't like this one. So, going by that logic, I probably love this episode, but who knows?
Yeah, I would say this probably is, to me, a lot of people say that Legends season 1 was the worst season because of the storyline. And well, the tone the tone was a little bit weird.
It was more like it couldn't find its feet. It was just,
right.
it was sticking its finger in the different flavors of ice cream, going, oh, what the hell do I like? Mm-hmm. And then eventually in this last third, I guess, of the first season, it found out what it needed to be.
Because I think the problem with season 4 is like the complete opposite of season 1, but in a bad way. You know what I mean? I think seasons 2 and 3, to me, were like, arguably you could say either one of those is the best. I think some people think season 2 is the best. Some people think that season 3 is the best. It really just depends on which villains you prefer. But this season, to me, it's like, I in your chat, in the live stream, I said I felt like this episode in particular was a fanfic for the showrunners. Because it really just kind of was with the Bollywood thing and then the Jane Austen thing. I mean, who do they think their audience is? You know what I mean? Like, I don't get it. Plus the fact that even without this episode being a factor, Mona is not like, she's not a lead character material. She's not. She's a secondary character. She's not Gary level. Right. And they've sort of turned her into like this lead character. And I don't know if it's because they want more diversity with the lead, because you could argue that Legends is the most diverse cast of all the Arrowverse shows in terms of like demographics and people and things like that. I don't know if they just want to make Mona the lead because they're trying something different with their demographics, with the push to diversity, which is great that they want to do that. I just don't think the character of Mona is a good, like, you could argue that Zari could be a lead. You could argue that even Charlie, I think, could be a lead character for some episodes, but Mona's just not. And they keep trying to push it. So, on this episode, though, like you guys were saying, there was some stuff with Nate and his father that I think was really good. I think the best scenes were the scenes that took place at Nate's house with him and Constantine and Mick. I think those were probably my favorite scenes in the episode, if I had to pick any, because it showed a range of emotion with our characters. But right now with Legends, where I kind of fit everybody in is that every character is sort of interchangeable. Like, you could literally change which characters go to what places, and it doesn't matter. There's no rhyme or reason for why certain characters are doing certain things. Like, none of their skill sets matter anymore, with the exception of Constantine. When they need some magic stuff, they get him to do it. But like in this episode, there was no action. Zero. There was no battle. There was no fight. There was nothing really happened. I think the werewolf version of Mona looks horrible. Like, Kunane looked great. That was a great werewolf or a Wolfman character. Mona's looks like, I don't know, it just looks really bad. Like, I don't know how to explain it. And so I feel like this season is just like, it's gone in a direction that I'm just not happy with. And,
do you think it's because it has clothes on?
I don't know. Maybe.
No, like that's like a legit thing, because Kanane is like, he actually looked like a werewolf. Like, because werewolves, if you're going to see a werewolf in a cartoon, they're going to have like tattered pants, Hulk style, or they're just going to be like an actual wolf that's standing up. But this is like, it's like hunched over with clothes, and it doesn't, like, when it's really smooth clothes, it doesn't look that good. Right. I know they have the hair going down the back, but even then the rest of the, because it's like, it's clothes, it looks smooth and stuff. It just looks awkward when it's that shape and it's like trying to burst out and stuff. It looks like, I don't know, we're getting demonetized or...
my thing is that also this episode, and I think a lot of people in the chat that watched it, this show is in the 8 p.m. time slot. So 8 to 9, if you guys don't know it, if you don't live in the U.S., 8 to 9 is considered or actually 7 to 9, with 8 being the main slot. 7 to 9 is like family time, like here. Like, that's where people sit down for dinner, and then they watch TV after they eat dinner. They might watch TV while they're watching dinner. So it's considered a family time, and then you put your kids to bed, and then everything after 9 o'clock gets progressively more adult. Now, I know it's not like that in other countries, but in America, that's kind of how it operates. So this episode in particular had a lot of stuff in it that would have got them demonetized on YouTube. I mean, there was like references to adult magazines. There was a couple of scenes that were like heading in a direction where I'm like, are we really going to go there in this episode? I mean, it was...
Look, let's just be honest. I'll get it demonetized now. Wasn't there like a gangbang or something in this episode?
There was definitely some of that going on in this episode. And, It just.
I heard that, and I saw a screenshot, and I was like, okay, well, that's.
It was real. It was real, not fake news. Real. It was absolutely real. I just was like, the whole time I'm watching, I'm like, who is this show for? I mean, there are people that are fans of the show, but are these people that are watching? Like, have they been watching the show since the beginning, or are they just like they came in like at the end of last season or something? I can't imagine that you're watching the show now and you think that it's at the quality of like season 2, because season 2 is different. Now, the Bollywood number I thought was well done. Like, I think the singing was good. I thought it was a fun number. But what is it doing on Legends? Like, why is it on the show? I mean, yeah, it's on Legends because it's the one show that they could do it, but why would you do it though? That's what doesn't make any sense.
What was the context of it?
Okay,
because I could give I'll just give my thoughts of what it could be. If it was like a magical creature that came in and could make them sing and dance, then okay, then whatever. Yeah. Or it was like some like cliche, like they brought in, like, let's just say they're having a bit of a meme at Disney, and like some over the top Disney princess comes in.
They meet a character early on when they go back to see Jane Austen, because the premise is Jane Austen stops writing. That's it. That's the whole premise. So they're going back to make her write again. I don't understand.
This is meant to be like a Pride and Prejudice sort of thing?
Well, it was, yeah. I mean, sort of like Sense and Sensibility, Pride and Prejudice. Emma, all these books that she wrote were just disappearing, and Mona's a huge fan of her, so she wanted to go back and fix this, right? That's what the premise was. They go back and they don't really know what the reason is, and they meet this the fake Hindu god, which has the ashes of the real Hindu god around his neck. That's the guy that has the powers. And he basically mansplains, which is probably the best way to put it, mansplains to Zari why her life sucks and why she'll never find love. Because they're trying to set Zari and Nate up in a relationship. So this magical being, who's again a human that just has a magical item, tells Zari basically that, you have to take these drugs. Basically take these drugs and you'll have a good time. I mean, that's pretty much what it was. And so she actually agrees to do it. He doesn't trick her. There's no he doesn't put something in her drink or something like that. Like, he literally just is like, hey, you have to do this to find love and then we'll get married. And she's like, okay, we'll do it. And then she basically does it to everybody else too. Sarah, Charlie, she goes and blows the magical dust on them to make them do it or whatever. But then Mona shows up with no magical dust and she starts singing and dancing. And then she even says in the scene, why am I doing this? Why am I singing and dancing? Okay, I'll just go with it. That's literally, I'm not kidding.
Is it meant to be some thing like, oh, Bollywood's infectious or something like that?
I couldn't tell you because it was just so out of place. It didn't. Now,
I did see people blowing up about calling Legends racist though.
For what? What reason?
Apparently cultural appropriation.
Because of Zari? Is that why?
I think Sarah dresses up in the Bollywood stuff.
Oh, that's just silly. That's stupid. I mean, the thing was, it was meant to be tongue in cheek. Obviously, there was no.
Yeah. It was meant to be serious. It wasn't meant to be like that Brie Larson movie.
So we're gonna move on. Legends just honestly, I think when you guys see my rant and review, you're gonna understand how I felt because I made it after I watched the episode. I literally went and made it immediately. When you guys see it, you're gonna understand my frustration. I know Pagey is not reviewing it regularly anymore. I'm on the verge of not reviewing it regularly. I don't like being negative every single week. I like ups and downs. I don't mind criticizing bits and pieces. I don't like to be totally negative. So
that's literally the reason I stopped. I was like, if it had one bad egg and it was fine, the rest of it, then I'm sweet with that, because that happens with every show. Arrow's gonna have that. Flash is gonna have it.
Right.
But if it's consistently the point where there's more negative stuff to talk about than positive, then you're like, well, what's the point?
Right.
I don't want to sit here going oh.
Yeah, that's why I don't review shows that I see, guys. This is why I don't review shows that I don't like, because it ends up making me feel this way. App Lifestyle, you got a $2 super chat about Legends. I'll answer that now because we're about to move on. Do you think Legends this season is worse than season 1? I'm going to say it's a close tie because I actually liked some of the episodes in season 1 of Legends, and this one.
The thing with season 1 is that a lot of the time it was just boring. Mm-hmm. It just felt like the character interactions weren't that great, but the plot made sense. It had fight scenes and stuff. It's just that maybe the camaraderie and the chemistry wasn't that great. Mm-hmm. While with Legends, the chemistry is good, but just what they're doing just is meh. It's not what it should be.
Yes. So
it's getting to the point where when the legends show up in Crisis next season, like, what the hell? Like, it's just gonna make, it's not gonna make any sense. Like every other, even Crisis on Earth X when they showed up, there'd been lead ups to that. And it's like, hey, well, they haven't fought for God knows how long, especially in like a superhero environment. Usually they're versing some weird knights in armor or some crap like that.
And Sarah in this episode was totally out of character the whole episode, and that's going to segue us into the Arrow review because our Arrow live chat, because Sarah was actually more like herself in Arrow than she has been on Legends in a really long time. So I thought that was kind of funny. So everybody in the chat, give us your score of Legends this week. This is going to be funny because I know it's going to be bad. Give me your score of Legends in the chat before we move on to Arrow, because I can only imagine what it's going to be. Imagine. And I saw somebody say, is that why I don't review Black Lightning, because I don't like it? No, that's not why. I've told people a million times. There's shows that I don't like. Black Lightning is not one of them. I actually like Black Lightning. Finn says, done with that trash, so I don't got a score. Wow. All right. Ammon says the singing was fun. Yeah, the singing was fine. Like I would jump into that and say, okay, it's good. All right, let's go ahead and talk about Arrow. Thanks, Amir. I'm going to answer your super chat in just a minute. We had a super chat about Arrow before we start talking about the review. Let me go down and see what that super chat was. It was from Monochrome, and I don't think it was a question. I think he was just making a statement and probably wanted us to talk about it. Monochrome Mandalorian with a $4.99 super chat says, this Arrow episode was mad, more hashtag feminism. Emiko actress is meh, interest waning since Ali got out of prison, to be honest. Okay, so let's talk about that before we jump into this episode. Do you think this episode to you was one of the just pushes to put the girls in front, or do you think it was something that fans wanted to see? Because that's kind of, I've seen both sides of that. Like, fans really want to see a Birds of Prey episode, and then some people are saying that, that it was a push to try and put women in the forefront. Like, what do you think?
A push. Arrow's always been a show that's always put women, like they're there. Like they've always had that.
Women,
like, Arrow's actually had one. Yeah, women. They've always had the strongest female. Like Flash, it's really inconsistent with how they handle their female characters. Legends does a good job, but that's more recent and stuff like that. But Arrow has been, I think they've been fairly consistent with it, especially putting them in like main roles for the most part, stuff that they actually get to do stuff. So. We already made the point about the fact that maybe they pushed the Laurel thing, but that was last episode. Once we're into this episode, it doesn't matter. That's more for last episode where they rushed it and they pushed it. They changed Dinah a bit. That's in the past. In regards to this episode, I thought it was handled well. The only issue I had with this episode was some of the dialogue, and that really comes down to Dinah. And whenever Dinah had a scene with someone, the dialogue in that scene was terrible because Dinah was the source of just that terribleness, if that's a word, because the writing for her was terrible. It was it wasn't actually terrible. Is not the word. It was stupid. It was like a 3-year-old wrote it and hadn't watched the other episodes. Like, what was that? Yeah,
I think that Dinah has had a writing problem for a while now. I mean, she's had some episodes where she's done really well, and then some, like when she was like, I would say probably maybe 4 or 5 episodes back, or actually the whole time that Oliver was in jail, I think her writing was okay. And then it's like all of a sudden now with this whole like vigilante task force or reverse vigilante task force where the vigilantes were working with the police department, I feel like her writing has been weird since that happened. And I don't know if it's because Dinah, and I said this last season, I feel like the writers just give her whatever dialogue they need for her to have to push the show along, because she doesn't really have a personality. I mean, what's her personality really anymore? Like, we kind of knew they gave her that botched storyline with Vigilante, which, by the way, I hate thinking about that.
Did anyone like that?
Yeah. What is her personality? Is she pro-vigilante? Is she anti-vigilante? Does she like being the captain? They want to make it out so she's a complex character, but in that strive to be complex, they've kind of made her plain and boring, and I don't like that about her, because she was supposed to be the Laurel replacement, and then they messed up because they realized people didn't want a replacement for Laurel.
They were fine with Laurel, yeah.
Right. So do I think that this was like a hashtag, and Monochrome Mandalorian, I know that yours just popped up, but we'll go ahead and do this for a follow-up to what you just said. The $4.99 super chat said, Birds of Prey didn't bother me. It was mostly the random canaries in the future with the support group empowerment that we've never heard of before. Okay, so thank you again for the super chat.
We did hear of them.
Yeah, I mean, the whole canary thing, I think the first time this season that we sort of got a taste of it was with Zoe as a kid, with the whole...
She shows up.
Yeah. But I mean, they even planted that before that when Renee said that she looked up to Dinah. You know what I mean? That all of that was sort of with the cry or without the cry. She looked up to the Black Canary, you know? But that aside, like outside of that with this episode, Pagey's absolutely right. I feel like Arrow has been very balanced when it comes to their male and female characters. And with the exception of the big bads, which they've tried to course correct with that a little bit, I think they've given some of the female characters really good stories. Like a lot of times people would argue that Felicity was given more than a lot of the other characters. And she was like put up on a pedestal for a lot of the other characters. So I don't really, it didn't bother me very much. I was excited about this one because I love Laurel and I love the Birds of Prey thing. And I was looking forward to seeing what they were going to do with it. And as you guys know, and Pagey's not going to let me forget this because Stephen Amell dropped a dab on me in my video when I made the video.
It was more than a dab. I'd probably say it was a Millie Rock, to be completely honest.
And I was so upset. He's like, just wait. Keep the faith. We got something coming. And he was absolutely right. He was absolutely right. So, but I'm so passionate about it. I love the episode. I get what you're saying, Monochrome Mandalorian. Thank you so much for the super chat. Let's see. We got another super chat here, I believe. There's one from Amir about the Flash. I'll hold off on that one for now. Ash Barryon with a $5 super chat says the Arrow writers hate any version of Black Canary as much as the Flash writers hate Wally West. That's hardcore there. That's a pretty bold statement. Isn't it kind of odd that I think they're going to get Black Canary right at the very end of the series? I feel like they're finally, going in that direction with the reveal we got at the end of this episode.
Yeah.
I mean, we're finally getting the Laurel Black Canary that we all wanted, except she's not from Earth 1. What did you think about that scene, by the way, at the end? I thought I didn't expect it to be Laurel. I thought it was going to be Dinah using
the one with Mia, or the one in the future with Mia?
Yeah, that one. I thought it was going to be Dinah.
I actually thought it was going to be Sarah for some reason because it was Earth 1. I thought they were going to confirm Sarah being alive. Mm-hmm. But then when I saw the black suit land, I saw the wig. As soon as I saw, I don't know if it's a wig. I don't know if it's meant to be like, I know it's obviously a wig for Katie Cassidy. Right. But is that meant to be like the blonde wig she wore in season 3?
It looked like it to me. That's what I thought it was.
Or is it meant to be like old lady Laurel with like gray hair?
I don't know because the lighting was so. It was like alleyway lighting, so I couldn't really tell.
Yeah, it's hard to tell until she's actually in like a lit up room. Then it'd be hard to tell.
Yeah.
But, I didn't think they were going to do anything like. But when I first saw like the scream, I thought it might have been Sarah. When I first heard it, and then when you saw it, it was like, okay, well, that's either Dinah or Laurel. But then I was like, well, it wouldn't be Dinah because we've already seen it. So process of elimination, Laurel. But I don't know. It's just I'd have to think it's natural grey hair for her because I don't know why she'd go back to a wig.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Especially in this future, like, is there a need for it?
There isn't even really a need for a mask, to be honest. But she was wearing it.
Yeah, because they are so. Unless you had family members and they go, well, I'll go hunt your family member.
Yeah, we don't really know for sure. But what family would she have on Earth 1? You know what I mean? So
Sarah. That's it, I guess. That's only Liam. I guess Laurel's mom, but
that's true.
She'd be alive at this point.
Right, exactly. Somebody brought up a good question, and I think I asked it in the chat when we were watching it. Were the black suited things supposed to be super soldiers with tech, or were they supposed to be robots? What was your impression of that?
I just assumed they were just like robots.
Yeah.
Because like the movements and stuff, and they looked robotic,
and they growled at the beginning. There was like a growl from one of them, and I'm like, that's weird.
Yeah. And at the end of the episode, they removed the helmet and stuff. I don't think I saw a head, or they would have focused on it. I don't know. I'm just going to assume it's AI because I think that's what it is. But
yeah, that's what I'm thinking too. I think so too. Absolutely. Mike Horan with the $5 super chat, which is about Arrow. Again, if you ask questions about Flash, guys, they'll sit there. I'll answer them when we go over to the Flash chat. Mike Horan says, love Felicity putting Dinah in check about being a killer herself. Found it super annoying Dinah hated Laurel for doing the same thing she had done. So that's a good point. One of the things in the episode that I noticed was, and I know people cringe when you say stuff like this, Felicity was like 99% right about everything she said in this episode. I mean, Laurel had tried everything she could this season to sort of get back in with the team. And people just kept pushing her away. I mean, even as early as when she was helping Felicity get Oliver out of jail, which she even said in this episode, when nobody else was doing it, she was out there working hard to do that. No one ever trusted her. And I don't think there was any reason for it. They just kept pushing her away. So when Dinah was coming at her for things that she'd done in the past with Vince and everything, not only did that feel like it was coming from like 20 years ago, basically, with that storyline, but it also kind of made it seem like she hadn't tried to do better. Felicity's like, she's trying to do better. She's been a better person. And then Dinah keeps saying, well, no, she's not the Laurel from Earth 1. Well, first of all, Dinah, you never even really knew Laurel from Earth 1. So, you're going on other people's opinions. But yeah, what did you think about that? Did you like the way they did that with Felicity being sort of the voice of reason?
Well, yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like some of the dialogue felt really forced. Like they're just trying to bring up this thing again. And I said it all came back to like Dinah, the writing being really stupid. Like surely anyone with some common sense wouldn't bring up or be like that big of a hypocrite. And she's been like put in her place before about being this type of hypocrite. Mm-hmm. So why is it coming up again? That's why I just thought it was some of that dialogue was really forced. Like outside of those scenes, like really anything with Dinah in it where she had to speak and was voicing her opinion was pretty shit in this episode. Let's be completely honest. Yeah. It was definitely the worst parts of the episode. And everything else I thought was good, but it really did make Felicity look like a diamond.
Yeah.
Like when you're comparing it against a piece of crap, that writing, like. Yeah, Felicity writing was a diamond compared to that.
But that's what I'm saying. Like Felicity felt like this voice of reason, and then you had Dinah who was just being just.
And it was consistent as well because Felicity's been like the only one really backing up Laurel this season. So, so I thought it matched up. I thought it was good that it sort of.
There's a lot of people that don't like Felicity. Yeah. She's leaving at the end of the season, but I think this season has been probably her best season since the first time we met her in terms of like her writing and stuff.
Yeah.
Just my opinion. What do you think? Do you think this is the best Felicity we've had in a long time, or I mean,
she was pretty good in I think season 5. She was pretty good. Was it season 5? I remember. I think it was an episode in season 5. I think it was season 5 where she has like a speech to. No, that was season 6. I think where she has like a speech to William. I think it was arguably the best Felicity scene that she's ever had.
Right.
It was like a speech to William and like William's watching Oliver. Yeah, it had to be season 6. So, and like William's watching Oliver like just smash some people up and like protect the city on a TV screen or something. And Felicity's giving this like almost like this monologue over the top. That's probably her best. I think it was season 6. That's like her best scene. But I think like since I don't understand like people consistently complain post season 4 because once season 4 was over, sure there was some growing pains in the beginning of season 5. I think once you're into like a decent amount of season 5, she's not that bad. Like there are some like moments where you're like, okay, she has to say this line, or she says like something that can be sort of annoying, but it's just I guess you just got to be consistent with the character. But
and then of course we had the bunker episode that we had. So
well, that's just But once again, that's just like we didn't want to spend money, so here's an episode that cost us $3 to make.
So I'm going to know from the chat, you guys in the chat answer this question because you got me thinking when you said that about season 4. Do you think that Felicity, I know a lot of people hate the Olicity thing, which is, I think that the hate for Olicity and Felicity in general was at an all-time high in season 4. Do you guys think in the chat that Felicity has done enough to redeem herself at this point? Because I feel like for me, if you talk about like the characters that were annoying and have kind of made a comeback, I think Felicity would be at the top of that list because they did write her very annoyingly in season 4. And then
who's at the bottom?
Do we really want?
Will Eric get called racist this stream?
I'm not going to answer that. We'll get. I'll take all the R's when we get over to the Flash. I'll take all the R's over there. So some people are saying no. She needs to leave. Well, you're going to get your wish. She's leaving in like 5 episodes. So let's go ahead before we move on to Flash and talk a little bit about this. First, 2 things we're going to talk about. Sarah, this is going to be really quick. I think this is the best Sarah we've had in a long time. I mean, she got her butt kicked a couple times, but I think it's the best Sarah we've had in terms of her feeling like she's actually Sarah. And I think the scenes between her and Laurel were really good, even though it's not our Laurel. I think that they wanted us to see those characters interact again before the series ended. I think that's what that was. Do you feel like that? Do you think it was like a love letter to the fans of the sisters or not? Or do you think it was just like throw them together for whatever?
No, I thought that were nice scenes, especially because we might get something in Crisis next year with these two, but it'd be like one of the last like just them two scenes together,
right?
Most likely, or those two actresses together just by themselves. So I thought it was good, especially when they're at Quentin's grave as well. So yeah, I thought it was good.
Yeah, so I feel like a lot of people were saying that they didn't like how Sarah got her butt kicked. Guys, Sarah, look at Legends. Sarah's not fighting. She's completely out of her element. Like, okay, she did the salmon ladder, okay, salmon ladder, okay, but she's not, her fighting is not up to par right now. Like, it's not there. Or maybe Black Siren's just that good. Who knows? We'll have to wait and see. So, yeah, we got to see her in her costume. That's probably the only time she'll wear it all season, until maybe the finale of Legends this year. So last thing we'll talk about is the Emiko Dante thing, because we got a little bit of follow up on that. That was the Oliver and Diggle part of the episode. So with the Dante thing, we know now that Dante was the one that set up the hit on Emiko's mom. And I have tried my best to understand what the purpose of that was. Now, you tried to give your opinion on it, and I know we talked a little bit about it, here and there. Was that to drive her to go back to Star City, or was that to have something to do with the Ninth Circle? What do you think that was? Like, do you think it was just to push her in that direction to go back to Star City and do the vigilante thing? Was that what that was, or with her mother, or was there another reason why?
It's probably the first one, to be completely honest, but I don't know. I'm interested to see what they do with her going forward. Yeah, because there's been some like issues to keep it simple, but
I feel like the more we look into this, the more complicated it becomes, and that's what's making me most frustrated with it. I feel like if it was very clean cut and dry, like, they're in other words, they're adding layers of mystery that I don't think are necessary unless there's something else happening. Because if she, and this is something that people have corrected me on before, if she is the leader of the Ninth Circle, or whether she believes she's the leader of the Ninth Circle, regardless of which one that is, then what difference would it make whether or not her mother was alive or dead? That's what I'm trying to figure out.
Well, I think it's like, I don't think she is the leader. I think that's just like that's my major issue with it, is just like them just randomly coming out with that, because I don't think there's a need for it unless there's going to be some big reveal in the next couple of episodes. Because Dante just seems to be the one that's running the show completely.
Right.
But like my thoughts on it is like, what could happen is that they, committed the hit on her mother, but it was because she wasn't like fully committed to the Ninth Circle.
So you think it was like to push her to commit to the Ninth Circle?
It was basically like, if you're stuck, it's like if you got a chocolate cake, you got a nice red velvet there. Like if someone takes the chocolate, all you got to choose is the red velvet. That's the only choice you got. So in front of Emiko, she had two lives. She had the Ninth Circle life, and then she had a personal life with her mother, like the only family she had. Because obviously her dad wasn't a part of it, and the Queen side of it wasn't there.
Right.
So if the Ninth Circle takes it away, all she's got in her life is the Ninth Circle, so she's going to be fully committed to that. And then when they add in the fact that she was allowed to go to Star City and do all this stuff, what I'm assuming it could be is that they just let her do that, and they backed her and even supported her to sort of throw the scent off that they might have had any sort of play with it, and even possibly led her down that fake trail that we saw early on in the season.
This is so complicated for no reason. It's so weird. Like Justin here says, here's the question that's been answered yet. Why was Emiko running? Like, this is one of my questions. Why was Emiko running around posing up Oliver if by that time she already been part of the Ninth Circle? And Pagey, we've disagreed on this a lot because we don't really know the answer to it. I believe Pagey's in the camp that she was doing that to like gain the trust of the team, or what was your
who said, was that Justin that said that?
Yeah.
Okay, here's the question. Why was Emiko running around posing as Oliver if by that time she had already been part of the Ninth Circle? Yeah, it was like to sort of just gain trust with not only, because initially it wouldn't have been with Team Arrow, like to get in with Oliver because he was still in prison. They didn't know when he was getting out. Like, I think she was using it as like a persona to get in and do certain things because Star City trusted her. Right. They trusted the Green Arrow like title.
Yeah.
But after that, once like Oliver gets out, and then the Ninth Circle changes their plans, and it's to get in with Oliver and stuff like that. Things evolved. I think it's to stay the same from when the plan was initially, created for her and what she was doing in the Ninth Circle, allowing her, because she's associated with the Ninth Circle. They can just say, okay, well, this happened. You've built this position up. Do this. This is your next little mission. Go do that.
And see, I understand what you're saying, but then right here, Lex Verrett says she's Green Arrow's cover, so she go through the city without being questioned. And I've said 1,000,000 times, she could have done all that in a black ninja suit and gotten less attention than she got by running around as the Green Arrow. I don't know why my Echo is talking right now. It must have thought that I said something. Oh, because I said Lex. That's why. Alexa, stop. She's still talking. Hold on. Alexa, stop. Oh my God. She's completely ignoring me. Hold on a second.
Okay, well, what slur am I using to get Eric demonetized?
Jesus Christ.
Let me know in the chat.
My Echo is spying on me. All right, I'm back. This kind of stuff that happens live. Anyway, so I'm in the camp where she could have gotten away with that by being a ninja. She didn't have to dress up as the Green Arrow. So I guess we'll have to wait and see, because I'm assuming they're going to go back to that at some point this season where they say, you know what, we're going to cover that and figure it out. Maybe they won't. Maybe they're going to be like, we're not even going to address it. We're just going to let it go. It'll be one of those things like Savitar where we just don't know the answer to half the stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. Do we have any more Arrow super chats before we move on? I think we have a couple of Flash ones. I don't see any more Arrow super chats.
I think you've made a bit of a meme in your own chat.
Oh yeah, that's pretty funny.
Alexa, kill Felicity.
Look, my Koran. I'm not even gonna say that. Thank you for the $2 super chat. I'm not gonna say that because the video is probably gonna be demonetized anyway. That'll make it even worse. Thank you so much for that. I appreciate it. All right, so before we move on, you guys, give your score of Lost Canary in the chat. Drop it 1 to 10. What did you think of this week's Arrow? Did you enjoy it? Did you not enjoy it? What in the world did you guys think of it? You guys are so funny. It's a good thing I don't have this on like speech to talk or text to talk. That would be bad. 8 Olivers.
Speech.
Yeah. Okay, so I mean, it looks like everybody kind of liked the episode. There's a few low scores. Okay, so I see the Flash questions are coming in already. Oh gosh, Monochrome, quit verbally abusing your toxic male. Thank you for the 199 super chat. You guys are so supportive when it comes to my AI in my house. All right, let's go ahead and we're going to jump over and talk about the Flash episode titled Godspeed. We got a few Flash super chats here, so let me go back up and we will go through them in the order that I got them. All right, so here we go. Amir says with the $5 super chat, thank you so much, Amir. Why was Iris also mad at Sherlock for not mentioning anything earlier when in a previous episode she told him to back off when investigating Nora? So we're getting right into it, right out the gate. Let's just go ahead and bust out. So Pagey and I talked about this earlier. There was an episode, probably like 5 or 6 episodes ago, Pagey? Was that it?
What are we talking about?
The scene where where Sherlock was supposed to confront Iris about Nora, and there was a scene. Was that like 4 or 5 episodes, 5 or 6 episodes ago, something like that?
God, when was it?
It was like mid-season, somewhere around the mid-season, I think.
Might have been episode 10 or 11. Really, really early after it came.
There was a synopsis where it specifically said that Sherlock was going to confront Iris about Nora. And if you guys remember, that scene never happened. We thought that maybe it got deleted or they moved it to a different episode, but that scene never happened. So they were giving Iris an out for being upset about Sherlock when it comes to Nora by not including that scene. Episode 8. Okay, somebody's saying episode 8.
Was it episode 8?
I don't know. It's 2 people said it. So they gave her that out so she could be mad about it.
Oh yeah, it was episode 8 because I think we were all theorizing that while Barry and Nora were time traveling, Sherlock would tell Iris, like, yo, something's up.
Because that was the episode where Sherlock, Iris, and Nora all went out to investigate, right? That was what that episode was? Was it that one? Where they went to find the satellite? That wasn't that episode?
That was episode 6.
Okay, so it was after that one. Okay. Anyway, so that was originally going to happen. So it wouldn't have made sense if Sherlock would have approached her and said anything about Nora for her to have this impression of her, or impression of him later on, basically. So that scene was gone. Without that scene, it gives them the ability to question Sherlock and sort of give him the cold shoulder. My question to them is, though, why are you looking at him like he did something wrong? You know, it wasn't like he investigated her and found nothing. And we went over this before. I've said this before in the show. If somebody finds out that someone is actually doing something wrong, you don't get to get mad at the person that found out about it. That's not the way you handle that. It's the person that did something wrong that you should get mad at. But everybody was mad at him. Now, we know there's probably a logical reason why, and I know you're going to talk about it, Pagey.
But I was going to say, don't shoot the messenger.
Right. But I mean, I know you're going to talk about this because you mentioned it in your video, in your review of this, is that we know that Tom Cavanaugh needed to be Eobard Thawne for the majority of the episode. So they didn't want to have to keep changing him back and forth from, Sherlock to Eobard. They wanted to let him stay in the cell and film all those scenes. So logically, they had to get him out of the scene quickly. So that's why they did that. But outside of that, like within the show's logic, it made no sense for them to get mad at him. Everything he was saying was accurate. I'm an investigator. I don't want to bring things to you if I don't have proof. I don't want to bring things to you if it's just a hunch. I want to make sure I have all of my facts together. Ralph knew this, which is why he told him, hey, look, I'm nodding at you. Like, I get it, but you need to leave the room now, right? Like you need to go, I get it. I understand that. The thing that kind of struck me as weird, though, is that Iris had an issue with him when she's an investigative reporter. She should know more than anybody that you don't present something like that without some proof. It's like you're not writing an editorial about Nora. You want to know if she's telling the truth or if she's not. And he had a hunch. So when Barry goes, how long have you known? He's like, well, I guess he said I knew, or I felt like it or whatever when I first met her. Something along those lines or whatever. But he needed the information to prove that what he felt was right. So he didn't do anything wrong. So here with your comment about why was Iris mad at him, your guess is as good as mine. I don't know why. I just know that's why they decided to make. We're going to talk about Iris here in a second. I know it's going to get heated, but they had to have someone get mad at him, and it made the most sense for it to be Iris because of the fact that she was already upset about what Barry was doing to Nora. So it kind of just cascaded into this, anger thing with her in the episode. So yeah, I don't know. You're right. Thank you for the super chat. The next one we're going to go to is from Gengar Venom with the $2 super chat. And he doesn't have a question, but he says, remember speedsters can't phase while they run? What is that? Was that in reference to something from we were talking about, or? I'm pretty sure speedsters can phase when they run, right? I mean, I'm pretty sure about that.
I don't know.
You don't know?
I just remember there was a race between Barry and Wally. I'm looking it up now. Where they race, and then Barry phases through a building to beat him.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Look, people saying yes they can, the car episode.
Yeah, Barry's running, and he phases through a building. And Wally can't phase it, so he runs up the building.
Okay, so is there an episode where I guess they say that they can't do it? I mean, I'm guessing that there's been a conflict between whether or not they can.
I'm going to assume it's probably in an early season, then season 3, because season 3 was like YOLO, who cares about consistency? They just did whatever they wanted to do and just made Barry run through a building.
Yeah.
I'm guessing that's what happened.
Okay. I don't know where to go with that, but thank you for the $2. Ash Barry on again with the $5 super chat. We're gonna get back to you, Gangam. I see you got another comment there. Ash Barry on with the $5 super chat goes, Barry was right. Nora can't be trusted, doesn't belong in the present, and has done nothing but mess up the timeline beyond repair since day one. You are correct, sir, and that's why I thought at the end of this episode he was the only one doing the right thing. And people are like, how can you get mad? He was just taking her back to her present day. How can you get mad about that? That is where she belongs.
Yeah, that's what should have happened at the end of episode 1 when they realized that, well, at the end of episode 1. Because when it came down to it, they didn't even need Nora. They just needed Sherlock. Because Sherlock needed to tell them, like, yo, well, something's, he's not the right person because Nora didn't realize it was going to be All and Dwyer. That was Cicada. So anyway,
yeah. Someone's saying that Iris quit her internship at the newspaper. She's not an investigative reporter. You don't have to have that to be the mind of an investigative reporter. Doesn't disappear when you quit your job. So I mean, it's like saying that a doctor can't give you medical advice if they're not a practicing doctor. They
if they're retired or something.
Yeah. So thank you again, Ash, for the $5 super chat, because you're right. Gengar Venom with the $2 says Amazo couldn't phase while he was running. Oh, really? I don't remember that. Did they literally say that in the episode? That would have been in the first episode of Elseworlds, right? So I guess they did say that. That's so weird. Thank you for the $2 super chat. But we know that speedsters can. They've done it before. So what a weird thing. I didn't even pay attention to that. They said that word for word that he couldn't. Well, I wonder if it's just him particularly or if it was in general. Oh, wait. I do remember what they were saying. Because he can only use one power at a time. That's what they were saying. He can't use multiple powers at the same time, right? Is that what it was? So he can't run fast and phase. He would have to pick one or the other. Whereas a speedster wouldn't have to because they already have their powers. Right?
Maybe. I don't know. I guess let's just go with that so I can move on because I'm getting a headache.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, Amir with the $2 super chat says, didn't realize you could torture inmates in 2049. That was weird. Was that weird for you? I thought that was a little strange.
I thought it was especially weird that there's a button there. I'm guessing it might be like.
It's like, hey guys, come on, let's push the button. Each one of you guys get a turn. You know.
I'm guessing it might be like if they've had to move them, they could do that and it sort of like knock them out.
Right.
But because I don't know, that might be what it is. But
it looked like his lightning though. It looked like reverse Flash's lightning is what it looked like.
Yeah. Well, they said that like if something happened, it'd like light up with lightning and stuff like that. But it was weird that it was red lightning. You think it'd just be like a normal electricity, but yeah.
So when that happened, I was like, for a second, I'm like, is this going to go like, are we leading somewhere with this? Like, is this going to be why Nora feels bad for him because she thinks he should be free because of ways being treated? Like, that's what I thought they were going with that, but no, they just were just showing them torturing him while he was in his cell. Okay, cool, I guess. Anyway, let's go ahead and talk about a little bit about the Godspeed character because I know everybody wants to talk about that. So I had theorized, I actually made a video about this 2 weeks ago, that Godspeed was going to be a 1-episode villain based on what we knew. And I know there's people before you guys in the chat. I'm not even going to look because I know you're going to say this. Supposedly Danielle Panabaker confirmed that Godspeed was coming back. I don't know. That's what people are saying. She confirmed it, that he was coming back.
Well, in another interview, she could basically confirmed it was a 1-episode villain.
Yeah, so I'm not sure what the truth behind that is. But as of right now, it looks like he is going to be a 1-episode villain, basically, is what it looks like. I like the suit. I think the VFX were a little bit weird in places.
The suit looked better without the VFX.
Yeah.
Like that constant white lightning going over him it like took away from like the actual color of the suit. Like there's a scene where it's when the Nora puts the thing on him, that bracelet, he's just standing there. Suit looked awesome. Mm-hmm. And then he injects the Velocity 9 and he gets the lightning back and it didn't look as good. I
think it's my favorite suit since the Reverse Flash suit, personally.
I like the Zoom suit. Even though the Zoom suit, I know it's all black, I still like the design of it. Saw someone saying that, like, is the Godspeed suit made of the same Savitar material? I was like, if it is, then I don't like it.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to find that, just looking at Danielle Panabaker stuff. Because I saw an interview where she said it was a 1-episode thing, basically.
Mm-hmm. So here's my thing with Godspeed. Like they tried a little bit to like give the fans what they want by making it August Hart, giving him a similar story, like a backstory, but they made him a V9 junkie, which is like, are you serious? So he went to the museum. I guess they were showing that maybe he was there all the time and he was looking up the history of these characters. And so he decided that he wanted to be a speedster too. So he found out how to use V9. And he became a V9 junkie, basically.
Yeah, well, to be fair, he was working towards making it a permanent thing, like finding a solution where he wouldn't have to take anymore. It would just be a permanent solution.
That's true, but I still feel like that was basically Trajectory's story, just with a guy. You know, it was very similar to that.
Well, if anything, it was Zooms.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I guess, yeah, you're right. But I would say Trajectory because it felt like Zoom wasn't running around stealing stuff to make the formula. Wasn't Trajectory doing that? Trajectory was actually running from labs and labs to like get the formula.
To get like the solutions to it.
Yeah, that's why I felt like it was a little bit like hers.
Yeah.
By the way, people are saying, how is Nora faster than Godspeed? Godspeed wasn't really that fast. I mean, he was... You could see him running past you, which would mean that he's not even as fast as, like, Season 2 or Season 3 Barry, really.
Yeah.
So they took away the whole Speed Force Stormer and everything. This is why... I think you talked about this. Godspeed is not a character that could go long for a whole season. He's not a season long big bad.
Nothing to him. He'd be something that like it'd be like a half a season villain at most. So it'd be like a alchemy or like Brother Blood type thing,
right?
That you could do, and then he leads into a bigger threat. I don't know why people keep saying. I'm going to once again. I always say this. Probably people that haven't read the comics and they just look at the suit and go, "Oh, he must have a cool story because his suit looks cool." But the actual story of the actual character, it's just meh. It's not even that good. It's basically not comic Zoom, not comic Hunter Zolomon, but show Hunter Zolomon. That's basically what Godspeed is like in the comics, but he's a wannabe version of that. He's just not that good. Fair enough, they did stuff with him, but it's not villainous. Where they go and do stuff. You know, what do they eventually go and do with the character? In Volume 1, you could do a short story with him. You could. But then where he goes in the comics, you can't make him a villain.
Because he doesn't really stay a villain for long. He starts out villainous.
He's been an anti-hero or borderline hero for longer than he's been a villain now. And he's only been in the comics for 3 years.
Right.
3 years? I think three. Yeah, I think almost 3 years exactly.
I think everybody was also excited about getting a Speedster villain because we haven't had one in a long time. You know what I mean? So having one that was also revered... I almost hate that they did this because you and I know through trial and error, especially live streams and videos, that Godspeed has been a character that so many people have wanted to see for a long time. And
well, the thing is that he came out at the perfect time, and like the guy that wrote it knew what exactly. Even if the character was weak, he knew exactly what he was doing. He was making this guy that looks cool, and he knew it was going to appeal to. And like this is when did I think season. I want to say it was season 2 of The Flash that the DC Rebirth came out when Godspeed came out. So The Flash ended for a season. Ended season 2, I think. And then that's when this came out and Godspeed was everywhere. Because the hashtag The Flash was used to promote this comic and Godspeed was everywhere. So people just saw this character and thought, man, he'd be cool on the show. So it just built up season after season. And obviously, like, you know, I've done videos on him. We've done videos on him. We've all done videos on him. But it's just sometimes... you know, maybe pushing those videos too much just creates this overboard amount of hype that he was never in anyone's wildest imagination going to live up to the hype. So people that would, you can be excited for it. I was excited to see him because I was excited to see the suit and I was happy with it because I knew the character was shit. Like, let's be completely honest. I knew the character himself was crap in regards to being a villain, but I still wanted to see what he looked like, and I was pleased with what I saw on screen because he did look cool. We knew that
visually he looked great to me. Visually, I thought he was a great looking character.
Yeah. But like he was never going to live up to, unless you knew zero thing about the character apart from, man, the suit looks cool. That's about it. If you knew that, then you would have been excited. But outside of like wanting some like story, if you for somehow were a fan of the actual character from the comics in regards to him being a villain, he was never going to live up to that because there's not much. It's shallow.
There was a level of expectation that he could never live up to, in my opinion, based on what the fans wanted.
It's like if like what's in it. What am I looking? It's like us people that watch the show. It's like almost when they do Reverse Flash in the movies. If they ever get that movie, it's going to be hard, especially if he only gets one movie, to live up to what Tom Cavanagh did with Eobard Thawne.
Because he's turned him into like this enigmatic character. Like he's an enigmatic type villain that has surpassed any other villain in the Arrowverse, honestly, in terms of like longevity and everything.
Yeah, it's just like so. Yeah, he's come, he's gone. Will he come back? Who knows?
I think that if we do see Godspeed again, it will be a different version. It will not be the one. It will not be August Hart. It'll be someone else completely.
Like well, the thing that they can do, we know, because look, we have like the Earth 90 Flash, who's Barry Allen, but he's like 1,000,000 years old, and our Barry Allen's like 29, 30 years old. So who knows? They could have a Godspeed.
I just thought, like, we never even saw the dude in the suit. Like he was never like with his mask off or anything like that. That was pretty funny.
Yeah, well, then like if they have like they have Godspeed come from another Earth, I guess, if they wanted to.
Yeah, that would be the only way it would work, is to bring him in for another Earth or whatever. They could also repurpose the suit. We talked about this before because they've done that before. We saw the Trajectory suit repurposed. We've seen repurposing of, what was another suit that got repurposed besides that one? Wasn't there another one? I feel like the rival suit was a repurposed Zoom suit, wasn't it?
No, that was like Play-Doh chucked down to the road to dry up. That was nowhere near the Zoom suit. That was a disgusting suit, the rival suit. There is one other. I'm trying to remember what it was.
Well, the Iris jacket, basically, that went to Nora.
Yeah, but I think that was more designed to be Nora's suit anyway. They just let Iris wear it for an episode.
Yeah. We still don't know who designed Nora's suit. I mean, they never showed that.
You see it hanging up in the time vault.
Yeah, but it didn't have the emblem on it, did it?
It didn't have the emblem on it. Oh, okay. So that was the only thing. I think you saw someone was saying there's another suit there, another Speedster suit that we haven't seen before, but I'm pretty sure, I don't know how they got it wrong. I'm pretty sure it's just those grey pajamas that Elongated Man wore. I saw people point to them. I was like, I'm pretty sure they're just like those grey stretchy things.
Do you think that? Well, Nora's suit has the Speed Force symbols on the stitching of it. So I wonder, or the Speed Force language. I wonder, is this gonna be another Savitar thing where the suit is gonna just go away at the end of the season and we're not gonna know anything about it? I mean,
yeah.
Someone said Richard Simmons is the next big bad. We're not going to do this today. We're not going to do this. Not going to happen. I don't think Godspeed is ever going to be a big bad, you guys. I mean, I know a lot of people want it, and I think the fans of Godspeed, the ones that really wanted him on the show, that would have been the only way they would have ever been happy, is if he came in and he was the big bad for the whole season. Like, I don't think anything less than the big bad would have ever worked for them. And if you're a fan of Godspeed in the chat right now, because I know there's a lot of you guys out there, would you have been happy if he would have been the big bad for the whole season? Or did you just want it to be the exact story from the comic books? Like, I'm just kind of curious. We could see the Godspeed suit repurposed for Red Death. I could see that. Like that same suit, but in solid red.
Well, they basically look the same. Like, Red Death is almost like a, he sort of looks like Zoom and Godspeed put together, almost. Like, you'd make him, if you're doing him, you'd probably, funnily enough, we're just bagging on the suit, but almost like the rival design where it's black, but it has like those lines and stuff. There's like, like orange lines. You'd probably do like the Godspeed style suit, but it's black, but all the features. So where it's white on Godspeed suit, it's black for Red Death, and where it's gold for Godspeed suit, it's red for the Red Death.
So they could
suit.
Easily just swap the colors and use the same suit, basically.
Yeah, just paint it or do some like permanent paint thing, whatever they want.
Well, maybe they were testing that suit in that material because I've heard it's much cheaper than the other suits to make that suit. Even though it was expensive, it wasn't nearly as expensive as like the leather suits are to make, apparently.
And like it, I was going to say, it would look better with red lightning going on as well.
So maybe they were testing that to see, because they are going to use that same design for Red Death, you know?
Yeah.
Maybe that's what they're going to be doing. I would say we would this is just my theory. If as far as like Godspeed versus Red Death in season big bads, I think we would see Red Death as a big bad before we'd ever see Godspeed as a big bad. Just my opinion on that. How do you feel about that? You think the same thing or no?
Oh, 100%. I don't know why you bothered asking me.
Okay, so we also we got the backstory on Nora. We understand why she became a hero. I said in the mega video from this week that I was worried that Godspeed was just going to be, there to set up Nora's hero story, and that's pretty much what he was. Speaking of Godspeed, I know I saw a couple people triggered that he couldn't create clones because he does that in the comics.
Because it's because he's sourced from Velocity 9.
Right, so he lost one of his most unique abilities.
Oh, but Zoom took Velocity 9. Yeah, but Zoom got natural speed. He was taking the Velocity 9 to get faster.
Right, yeah.
So that's why he could do like the whole time travel thing.
That's also why he was faster than Godspeed, because Godspeed was using just using V9.
Yeah.
Let's see. Let me see. Did you have a super chat, Mike? Oh, yeah, you did. It's Godspeed related. It's okay, cool. $5 super chat from Mike Horan. Thank you so much. Sorry I missed this. Do you think Godspeed was the other person who went and visited Thawne like Nora did turning to Thawne for help. He could be Thawne's ace in the hole. What are you laughing about? What's funny there?
I always think Mike Horan is like a maiden name, like Mike Hock or something.
Oh, God.
Or Jack Hoff or something.
Hold on. I'm not... look, Mike... Space.
Horan.
Okay, we'll leave it like that.
Mike Horan.
So he's wondering if Thawne is just, like, don't make me think that. Now you got me paranoid. He's wondering if Godspeed was the other person that went to visit Thawne. I would say no, probably. He wouldn't have any way to get in to see him, I don't think. They never said. Did they say what he did for a living? Did they say that or no?
August Hart, I think they did, but I really couldn't care less.
I don't think it was related to Thawne, though. I think if they were setting that up, it would have been... We would have seen more of that in the episode. I would like to know who was visiting Eobard, but I don't think it was August Hart.
No, I don't think it would have. I think they said second time in 15 years. So I think the first time would have been 15 years ago. So that's like 2034. So
I'm trying to think who that would have been.
We figured it out. It's Red Death. Let's go. Red Death was visiting.
Red Death visited. Confirmed.
Okay.
Leak.
Okay.
Spoiler. Wrap it up.
I'll give you guys a little taste of the title for my next YouTube video. Oh no, we'll go Red Death. We'll do this in lowercase. Okay, hold on. I can't type today. I'm terrible.
Oh God, I can't wait to see what this is going to be. I'm waiting, you guys, patiently here for this.
There we go.
Oh, Red Death visits Reverse Flash confirmed ? So you don't know if it's true, but exclamation point. So it is true. Leaked with that exclamation point. So it's actually leaked information. It's confirmed, but it's leaked at the same time.
DC TV is making a video.
Canada Graphs, get on those photos for us. Go out there and get those pictures so we can make those videos.
The DC TV show has left the chat.
Oh God. Jesus, it's too funny. I would think, though, in all honesty, I think the person visiting Thawne would probably been Iris. I think it would have been anybody.
It wouldn't surprise me if there was her. Don't know why, but
wow, somebody says that looks like a legit Pagey video title, though. Wow,
that's the point. It's meant to mislead you and make you think it's true. So it's meant to look appealing and true, but also be bait at the same time.
So Danielle Panabaker did a great job for her first time directing The Flash. I think it was awesome. What did you? I just thought of something that crossed my head, across my mind. I'm going to say it here in a second, but I want to know what you think about Danielle Panabaker directing for the first time. What did you think of it? Did you think she did a good job? I think she did a great job with this episode.
Yeah, I think she did, and she must have had like some good talks with a cinematographer, because some of the cinematography in this episode was much better than previous episodes.
The fight scenes specifically were good. Were really good.
So she must have told him or her, whoever the cinematographer was, the ideas that she wanted for the episode, and then he could adapt to those ideas. Because I think the only other person I've seen do that is Kevin Smith. Where he's actually, and he came out and said and I think she must have adapted that or got that idea off him to actually converse with the cinematographer and be like, okay, well, I have this idea. Is it possible for us to do that? And then they've gone ahead and done that. So, I think she nailed it. And she was talking about the fact that she did, like, when people like Kevin Smith or Tom Cavanagh did the directing, she would pay attention. And I think even when Tom directed the episode 8, because outside of Barry and Nora and even Tom, all the other characters weren't that big, so she was able to spend the week. I think she said she basically shadowed Tom and was his assistant director for the episode, because she was just paying attention to what he was doing.
Look,
might have been last season.
Canada Graph says he saw her shadowing directors last season, so she's been preparing for this for a while now. Do you think she'll direct more episodes? I think yes. I mean, this one.
I think she'll be on
good.
the Tom Cavanagh thing where he directs one a season. So I think she'll direct as long as she's on the show and the Flash keeps going, she'll probably direct an episode a season.
Yeah, I agree.
And it wouldn't surprise me if I don't know. It matters if anyone else wants to do it. It wouldn't surprise me if Grant did it, but it matters if Grant wants to do it, I guess.
Well, I think it's harder for the lead stars to do it because they're on the screen so much.
Yeah, the only other Tom Welling did it a couple times with Smallville, but I don't know what episodes they were specifically. Whether they were they could have been an episode that was focused on Oliver Queen or something in Smallville, or Chloe. Awkward bringing her up.
I was gonna say something about the fact that Iris had some of the most annoying dialogue and Danielle was the one that directed the episode. Is that stirring that pot a little bit too much? I think probably. Ash brings up a good point. He's got a $5 super chat. He goes, for a team that's supposed to be a family, they're sure quick to turn on each other and be petty to each other. Yeah. Well, here's the thing is I thought like 3 seasons ago, 3, maybe 2.5, didn't Joe say, no more lying to each other? We're going to tell the truth all the time. How long did that last?
Yeah, not long.
Yeah. So it's true. Yeah. Thank you for the super chat. They are quick to turn on each other. I don't understand that either. So I think Tom Cavanaugh's direct is done really good with his direct. Like if you think about it, a lot of times the people on the shows do some of the best work with directing because they have a connection with the people they work with, so it makes it easier. They can play to everybody's strength. You know what I mean?
And they have experience from being on set for X amount of seasons of what works and what doesn't work.
Right. So they kind of know going into it. But yeah, I kind of like that. Yeah. So let's go ahead and talk about the end of this episode and some of the stuff that happened at the very end. So Barry decides to send Nora back to her present day. Now, I don't normally look at the teasers right away, but tonight I did see the teaser. We know that this is going to cause an issue next week with a certain character, and she's going to be really mad about it. But to be honest, Barry is absolutely right. Nora, he can't trust Nora anymore, and that doesn't mean that he thinks that Nora is lying on purpose, because I think they established that she wasn't doing this because she thought she was doing anything wrong. She was lying, but I feel like she thought she was doing the right thing. But the problem is that now she's been compromised. Now Eobard has gotten into her head, and Barry doesn't trust her anymore, so he takes her back to her present day, to our future, so she can't interfere with them anymore. And we know it's not going to last, but he made the right decision, I think, in doing that. What do you think about that, Pagey? Do you think that was the right thing, or do you think that he should have kept her around and maybe given her another chance, or like, what do you think?
I can understand why he did. I don't necessarily think he's 100% right because you know what this reminds me of.
What?
I know it's not as extreme, but it reminds me of Savitar. You know, you have this person who trusted you, was within you, and then you basically put them in this future where there's not much going on for them, and you basically left them with the worst possible memory of the person that you went back to connect with in the first place. That she's completely let him down and everything like that.
Right.
So what's going to happen if Barry just left her in the future? In that state of mind, what would Nora do? She's just not going to go back. She's now got powers, and she's just not going to go back to living her normal life. Like her friend, just as we saw in these flashbacks, died at the hands of this speedster. What's Nora going to do? She's not going to be in the same state of mind or a good state of mind. So, I think it's a bit of a meme. Iris jumping in the time sphere. Let's be completely honest. However, it's a bit of a meme. Like it's going to be memed up. Like it's
gonna prove something though that I said a long time ago. I know it's going to prove it because I saw them doing it in the preview about the time sphere.
I wish there was another way they could handle it. Like there was maybe like we could go to the future and there could be like someone like Joe who understands Barry,
right,
and someone like that. But they would never do an old because imagine if it was this. Is Joe still alive? Are we meant to? Is this 30 years in the future? Would Joe still?
He'd be in his 80s.
So like 80 years old.
Yeah.
So
he could be. He could be. I mean, there are people that live till 80. So
yeah, or even so, like they could even bring. Like I know it's not going to happen, but they could do a Wally. I don't know necessarily if we have to time travel with Iris to do it, because as I said, it's a bit of a meme. But as I said, I think what Barry did, I can understand why he did it on his side. However, obviously he hasn't incorporated like it is like Savitar. Like what happened to that time in Barry
that drove him to be a bad guy because he was shunned by everybody.
He was a good guy. He was right. Barry. He was just Barry, and then they let him go, and he just morphed into this Savitar thing. So
it's very similar to the Laurel Lance we saw in Arrow, where she.
And what would happen to Nora when the only person she can talk to is Barry's worst enemy, the dude that killed her grandmother.
I would say that if he left Nora there based on what just happened, she would break Eobard out 100%. I think she would say.
Oh yeah, she would do something to get because he's the only one that's helping her. Everyone else.
Oh my God, we know that Eobard gets out. We know that he gets out because we've seen like stuff about that. So is that what's going to happen? Is she going to save him basically?
Maybe that'd be interesting.
Well. That would be interesting to see that she's actually, that she's like, hey, come and help us defeat Cicada, you know? And then she's like, because she did say he's the only person that knows anything about the people that she loves and would tell her the truth or whatever. Oh my God. Is this what's going to happen? Is Nora going to...
I don't think she's going to let him out, but I think I don't know. He has because someone Ty Sean did put in the thing that he does have black hair in those set photos, which makes me think it's a different Eobard Thorn from a different time. Who maybe just knows what's going on. But I don't know. Like as I said, I can understand why Barry did it, but I think he's actually wrong in what he did in regards to the grand scheme of things, because he's just basically he's done Nora dirtier than what happened to the time remnant Barry that became Savitar. So.
No, we're just throwing out theories, you guys. None of this is like, this is just us theory crafting. People are like, oh God, spoilers. No, we're just theory crafting. I don't know. I'm saying, what if she does that? We don't know if she does. I'm literally just throwing it out there. We do know in the preview though, that Iris is going to use the time spear now because of what happened. And I can't wait to I've got my time spear video made. I've got to update it now because I think in that preview, they prove what I've been saying all along. So we're going to go with that. So anyway,
that basically proves why it's back in Thingo.
Yeah. So we got a couple super chats here. We're going to address them before you go any further. Tyler Scully with the 99-cent super chat, just supporting the channel. Thank you so much, Tyler. I appreciate it. I love your avatar, by the way. Amir's got
on 2 seconds.
Okay, I'll wait for you to come back then. Yeah. Let's see. Joe would be almost 90 in the future. Okay. Somebody was asking about why Pagey's not on video. That's just his choice. If he wanted to do video, he could. He just does audio. Let's see. Time Spear retcon. I don't know. In the preview for next week's episode, they show that they're using a gun or a beam to send the Time Spear forward. So that proves that there is no time travel device within the spear. But this may also explain how Shikata comes back, I guess. I don't know. Let's see. Should you risk watching Bollywood Legends? Mark Hayden, no. What's up, True Talk? How are you doing? Ganger Venom. That's a great title. What's up, Wally West of the new big bad? Probably not. Pagey can't do video because Cal is using it for live chat right now. Possibly. Cal's always doing something. Canadagraph said you can't do video because Cal's using it for live chat right now. Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah. I don't know what website. I'm trying to think of a website.
So, Ryan Doles, how are they going to use the spear if there's no speedsters to power it? Well, they're going to create a device that lets them do it. That's what they're using. They're using that same sort of gun that they used to get Barry out of the Speed Force.
The Speed Force bazooka, whatever it's called.
Yeah. How are you doing, True Talk? Good to see you. Glad you stopped in. So we got a super chat here. I was waiting for you to come back because I read this and I thought we need to talk about this. Amir with the $5 super chat. Thank you so much, Amir. He says, pay attention. This is a good one. What if the Red Death is an incarnation of Thawne caused by all those red electrical torture shocks?
Oh, God. That'd be interesting. I don't think I'd necessarily like it, but it'd be interesting.
Could you imagine? I'm Thawne. I'm a time remnant of the Thawne that was tortured in prison, and now I'm Red Death.
I'm a time-displaced time remnant stuck in time who's traveling through time,
because of time,
to ruin time and killed speedsters throughout time in record time. That's basically how that story is going to go, I think.
Right.
Might have missed out one little time thing there, but I think most of it's on point.
Thank you so much for the $5.
Someone did point out in the comments and the chat, I must agree, why do they put that Barry and Reverse Flash, those two images, in the promo images? Because if you're watching the episode, you just think Barry's going to run back to normal time, but then he runs to the thing, and if those promo images didn't come out,
right,
you don't know that scene's going to happen,
right?
Because there's only a minute left in the episode. So, why'd they do that? Who knows?
That is true. That is true. I was almost wondering if they were going to not have that scene because we got so close to the end, and I'm like, are we done?
You guys going to get cut or something? Because I thought it was going to be a longer scene. It was just a quick one, like under a minute.
So Ash Barryon with a $2 super chat says, Iris is an only sibling as far as the show knows. Did you mean Nora or do you mean Iris?
I think she might mean
Nora. So I think the whole theory about Nora having a brother or sister, I don't think that I would be really surprised this late in the season if that was a thing. What do you think? I mean, I don't think they're going to do the brother-sister thing.
If they're going to do it, you do it like episode 2. You don't do it episode 21.
Yeah, I don't think so. So here's the thing. Before we wrap this up, a couple things I want to talk about in regards to the future of the Nora character.
Oh, yeah. I think he's making a joke about Wally.
Oh. Okay, I get it. Is that supposed to be tongue in cheek? Is that what that was? If it is, I got it. Thank you. Thank you. Whatever my head.
Yeah, Wally joke. Yeah.
Okay.
I thought it was going to be some incest thing.
My head over the joke. Where's that? What's that meme with the thing over the head? Totally went over my head. I got it. Thank you so much. That was funny. Thank you for the super chat. So as far as we know, Nora is done after the season. Do we know she's not coming back for season 6, right? As far as we know.
Let's hope. Let's hope. Time issues.
Yeah, because I would say that. Oh God, read what Adriel posted just now. I'm not going to read that.
What the hell?
Jesus Christ! What is this? What does this turn into?
When did that happen?
I don't know. So yeah, we're gonna. But think about this though. How is this gonna affect? I didn't think about this before, but I think about it now. If Nora's gone and she's not coming back next season, how is this gonna affect Barry and Iris moving forward? Because it's really, really weird, right? I mean, if she gets erased, I mean, it changes everything. Because a lot of the stuff we've watched this season is from Nora's perspective. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, wouldn't that change everything they do moving forward now that she's been there? You would think,
well,
right?
Should. Yeah, I don't know how they're going to end up, and what's going on currently on the show with Nora, because, like,
The thing is that what's happening now, if Nora gets erased, it doesn't affect her effects on the current timeline. Because they're just like, a different timeline would be that she never came back to, which is the one that we already had, like, before she showed up at the wedding, I guess, would continue onto its own timeline. So when she came back, she started a new timeline, if we're talking right. But I don't know, like,
it's confusing. It's super confusing. But even like the whole, like, if crisis happens now, then that video message from Barry never existed. Shouldn't Nora's like memory change or something? I don't know. If Nora if she doesn't disappear. This is why you don't deal with time travel when your name's Todd Helbing, because you get confused.
Well, you get a new showrunner next year, so that's good.
Yeah, who knows how that's going to go. It could be good or it could be... Well, let's just hope it's a Beth Schwartz situation where no one has any idea how they're going to go.
Freaking Mark Hayden with the hot take, was Godspeed worth the wait? You already know what the answer to that is. True Talk said they did mention Wally today. Yeah, so a lot of people were saying that Wally was killed by Cicada, but I said he wasn't because there was no proof of that. And then in tonight's episode, they just said that Kid Flash wasn't around. They didn't say that he was killed by anybody. So they kind of left that open-ended. And I like that they did that. The same way they left the Eobard Thawne, how he was captured, they left that open-ended. So that was good. Let's see. Where is it at? Henry goes, seems Flash, Arrow, and Legends of Season in particular storylines are not focused on the title characters. That's a good point. I've said that from the beginning, that more so Flash than anything, because I think the first third of Arrow was definitely about Oliver Queen. I think that it's kind of gotten a little weird as we've gotten closer to the end. But the Flash has definitely not been about Barry this season. I mean, I feel like he's been maybe even third in the ranking of the show, like in terms of characters. He hasn't been of any real, like, think about it. When was the last time that he did anything really big? Mid-season finale, maybe?
Yeah, I guess.
The last thing he did was when they tried to stop Cicada with the trick with the Savitar. I guess the 100th episode, I think is what it was. That was the last time he did anything.
That dagger magnet or whatever it was.
Outside of that, he hasn't really done much. So it's really weird. Ash with a $2 super chat. Todd Helbing should have been fired after Savitar. Well, I'm not gonna disagree with you on that one.
God,
not gonna disagree on that one.
Yeah, I'm interested to see like what the conversation was when he got like they said that Eric Wallace, I think his name is coming in.
Yeah.
I wonder what the conversation was, whether Belange was like, oh, Todd, you stuffed up laters, or whether Todd was like, oh, I'll leave. Well, the thing is, he got an upgrade. He got a promotion, essentially. And the same thing happened to Miracle, the one that did Arrow.
Wendy.
They basically...
Wendy Miracle.
They get... Like, I think Todd's got a job next season where he does nothing and gets paid for it. He basically... People come with him with ideas for shows and goes, oh... Nah, not a good idea for a show. And he's on like a voting thing. He gets paid for it. Give me that job, please.
Jesus Christ. Oh man. So yeah. Overall though, I thought that this was a really good episode. I don't think it was. I said it was probably in my top 3. You said it was probably your favorite episode.
I think it's my favorite because I think it's the most consistently entertaining episode this season where there was nothing that I found actually wrong with it. As I said, I know people were complaining about Iris, but I think she was consistent in what's been set up throughout this season where she's on like the benefit of the doubt side with Nora, and they continue that in that episode. So if you can't really complain about it now if people weren't complaining about it back then, which I pointed out when people weren't pointing it out. So when I have in this episode, I was like, well, it's fitting the character. She's been consistent with it at least.
Someone says Legends was better than Flash this week.
That's a hot take.
They want you to, like, we've already gone through this. I think you've said it a million times. Pagey's not reviewing Legends right now.
As long as it's crap, I'm not touching it. I'm not going next to something that smells.
I'm not reviewing Game of Thrones. I watched Game of Thrones. I watched it, but I'm not reviewing it because it's a market that's too hard to get into right now. It's
literally, it's saturated. It's like doing Endgame reviews after the 26th.
Yeah.
It's like, I wonder how many of them will be up.
So that's going to wrap up the 3 shows that we talk about. So you guys in the comment section, let me know what you rated this episode of The Flash, Godspeed, from 1 to 10. What did you think of it? Did you like it? Did you not like it? Give your score 1 to 10 in the chat. Tell us what's on your mind. 8, 10 out of 10, 8 out of 10, 8.5 out of 10, 8, 5. Really? 9, 9 out of 10, 8, 9, 9, 8, 10. Godspeed is basically an overpowered version of Zoom. I'm not going to disagree with you on that. Well, no, underpowered. I would say he's an underpowered Zoom.
Yeah, he's wannabe Zoom. Just like he is in the comics. As I said, they nailed him.
Let's see. Yeah, so everybody kind of liked this episode. I only saw one really low score. Are you going to do a Legend review? My Legend review is already done. It's already completed. I just have to edit it and upload it. It's that way. What about you, Paige?
Upload it on private. See if it gets demonetized. Fix it up. Upload it again. Still demonetized.
Yep.
Then just deal with it and just upload it.
I actually have it sitting right in front of me. I could play it right now for everybody, but we're not going to subject people to that. You can wait. It'll come out tomorrow.
Big yellow symbol.
I hope not. Somebody gave it a 3. Is that real? For real? 3 or 4?
It's obviously a troll.
2 out of 10 because of PS2 graphics for Godspeed? Wow. Holy crap. Just Giovanni. I'm not reading that out loud. Okay, so here's the thing. I'm going to finish up. I've got 1 episode of Black Lightning left. I know a lot of people want me to review the season for Black Lightning, so I'm going to do a Black Lightning season overview. Probably, I would say no later than next week. So you guys that have been wanting to hear my thoughts on Black Lightning, you will.
Big question, though. Prediction. Will it get demonetized?
Probably will.
What do you think? What do you think the reason for the demonetization?
Oh gosh, I don't know, because it's too street level, and I'll probably mention something in it. I don't know. They don't like me. They just demonetize everything I do. This will be demonetized.
My bet is on accidental racial slur from Eric. That's my money. I'm betting $2 on that. Anyone else want to match that $2?
Oh gosh, yeah. Hit him up on Twitter. At Page.
It's not on purpose. It's accidental racial slur from Eric.
Not on purpose. Accidental.
And I'm not saying it's specific to any race, any racial slur. Eric will accidentally say.
Or my echo will start talking in the background and it'll just get demonetized.
And then there might be some mixing of audio and boom, demonetized and a community strike.
Oh gosh! All right, you guys. So with that being said, let's get out of here. Just head out. So I really appreciate you guys coming in and joining us, and I'm so glad the stream worked out. There was no trouble this week. So maybe last week it was just because we only had Legends. That's what it was. It was just because there was only Legends.
I'll tell you what though, Eric, if that happens, at least the trolls on it Twitter will have some ground to stand on.
That's true. They would. They don't have anything now, but they could definitely do something there. Anyway, thank you guys so much for coming in. All my moderators, great to see you guys. We'll be back next week with another. We might have 4 shows next week, right? Supergirl comes back, so we'll have all 4 shows to talk about next after party. I think Supergirl comes back next Sunday.
And, I don't know.
I might not be here.
Oh, well, it'll just be me then. I'll fly solo.
Because Endgame comes out a week
from that's right. That's true. You're going to be seeing it that night. So that's interesting. We may, you know what we might do? We might postpone the after party a day. so that you
If you do it the day after, then Endgame won't be out where you are yet, but I would have seen it.
I'll do a poll. I'll do a poll on my community tab. So if you guys watch my community tab for this week, and I'll do a poll and see what time works best for everybody, and I'll try and pick like that time, and we'll do it. So because I'd rather have, like, if you're gonna see Endgame, I'll be seeing Endgame like the day after, but I'll be seeing it on a different time. Like basically, it won't be in the same time zone that we would be doing this. So I could do this and go see that. So yeah, it'll be interesting. By the way, guys, watch out for spoilers. Watch out for them. They're all over the place. Go into your Twitter, turn off media play automatically. You can do it in your settings. No, we're not going to do it on Thursday. It'll be Wednesday my time. So anyway, I'm out of here, guys. Thank you so much, Pagey, for joining me. Thank you guys for coming in, and we will see you next week. Take care.
Farewell.